This is day 12. Okay, so it's basically addition. Basically operations with decimals. So it's labor intensive. So if you're okay, you can skip around. I'm gonna try to do all of them. Ugh. I'll try to do all of them. Okay, but I want you to get the idea, of course, of how to do the operations because it's the point. All right, I know that you know how to add and subtract and multiply, but make sure we know how to do the same with decimals. So number one, so I would obviously write it like this, 425.2 minus, and we're subtracting, so it's 173. I like to put the decimal first, line it up, and then I can put the other numbers. So it's 3, the 7, the 1, then the 4, and the 5 here. And I know that all my place values are under the same place values. Okay, the hundreds, the tens, the ones are under the ones, etc. Over here, you notice that there's an empty space, so we add a 0. Okay, so now everything is same size. You can what do you call subtract? Bring the decimal down first, and if you need to do some borrowing, go ahead and do. And you notice that you definitely need to do. And we're gonna borrow from the 5. 5 becomes a 4. That's going to become a 12, becomes 11, this becomes a 10. 10 and 5 is 5, 11 and 4 is 7, minus 7. Minus 4 is 7, 4 minus 3 is 1, and now the 4 is going to borrow to the 12. 12 minus 7 is 5, and 3 minus 1 is 2. So my final answer is 251.75. And I'll bring that decimal a little lower because it's supposed to be down here like this. Otherwise, you're confused as multiplication sign. Okay. Next one, 7.328. And again, I'm going to line up my decimals. And 0.76, nice and pretty. Okay, subtract, add a 0 here to make everything the same size. 8 minus 0 is 0. Some borrowing again. We're going to borrow all the way from 7, becomes a 6. This becomes a 13, which becomes a 12. And this becomes a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6. 12 minus 7 is 5. Bring the decimal down. And 6 minus 0 is just 0. Okay. Let's do this one. That's a 6. It has no decimals, right? So let's add a decimal. Let's make that 6.0. And I'm actually going to make 6.000 because I know the number we're subtracting has 3 decimal places. So we're going to need 3. 1, 2, 3. And now the other number, decimal under decimal, and you write 2.574. Good. Everything's lined up. A lot of borrowing here. The 6 becomes a 5. This will become a 10, which becomes a 9. This will become a 10 again, which becomes a 9. And finally, the last one is a 10. 10 and 4 is 6. 9 and 7 is 2. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay? 489.2 plus, and this is addition. So again, it's the same idea. We're going to line up our decimals, and this becomes 8.03. And that's how you lined it up. Okay. Notice the top number, there's an empty space. I'm going to add a 0 so that we make it the same size. 0 plus 3 is 3. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 8 is 17. Goes 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 4. 497.23. So the idea is the same, adding and subtracting. Make sure your decimals are under decimals so that your place values are being subtracted or added to the same place value of the other number. Okay, so 23.04. Notice that 12 has no decimal, so I'm going to add a decimal here first. And I'm going to write 12. So it's 12.00. Adding 4, 0, 3 and 2 is 5, 2 and 1 is 3. Okay. Last one here, 22.3. Add a decimal, which makes this a 7, a 9, and a 4, 947.72. Add a 0 on top. Make sure both numbers have the same number of decimal places. It makes it prettier and easier to add or subtract. 0 and 2 is 2. 3 and 7 is 10. Bring the decimal down, carry the 1. 7 and 3 is 10 again, carry the 1. 4, 2, 6, 7, 970.02. Okay? A little review here. I guess we do some word problems. Okay, not that bad. All right, so a diver scores Okay, it's probably an Olympic event here. Diver scores 6.892, 7.935. That should be at 6 point, not 6 comma. Okay, so 6.253 and 8.02. What was the diver? Ugh. What is the diver's total score? So you would need to add all those four numbers. So again, it's not the adding that I am concerned about. It's just making sure that when you do add these numbers, you place the decimal under decimal. So that makes sure that you're lining up the place values nicely. So this is 6.253, and the last one is 8.025. Okay, it's a little bit crooked, but so all these 2, the 5, the 3, and the 5. So this would be 15, carries a 1, 9, 10, 15, 9, 10, 17, 20, carry 2, 10, 19, 21, carry 2 again, 10, 22, 29. So 29.105 would be his score. Okay, just pause this for a second. Back on. Okay, so again, the main important thing is make sure that these decimals are lined up under each other. Okay, so that you are adding numbers with the same place value. Okay, John's batting average is 0.87. Wow, 0.87 is not that bad. Last year it was 0.187. By how much has his average increased? By a lot. So by how much? So obviously he went up. It went up from 0.175 to 0.87. So let's go and go like this. It's a subtraction problem. It's a very bad subtraction problem. Okay? A lot of people may not know baseball or understand. So this was a bad problem. But anyways, it's a subtraction problem. So 0.87, we're going to subtract that by 0.175. Line up your decimals. This needs a 0 here. Okay. Now we can do some borrowing. We're going to borrow from the 8. 8 becomes a 7. This becomes a 17, which will become a 16, and this will become a 10. 10 minus 5? 5. 16 minus 7 is 9. 7 minus 1 is 6. Bring the decimal down. And 0. So how much did it increase by? It increased by this much. Okay. Actually increased now. It's pretty ridiculous batting average. Multiply. Now, multiplication. Let's do the first one. Okay. And you'll see as we go along. We have a problem that says 0.18. Okay, try again. 0.18 times 0.06. In multiplication, you don't need to line up the decimals. What you need to make sure you know is the number of decimal places that are in the two factors being multiplied. So this first number has 2 decimal places. This second number has 2 decimal places, and that gives us a total of 4 decimal places. Keep that number in mind because it's going to play a role in our answer. So now let's multiply. 6 times 18 is 48. Carry the 4. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. You don't need to do the other zeros because it's just going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's our final answer. Now, this number here tell us that our answer should also have 4 decimal places. Okay, so if the two numbers combined that we're multiplying has 4 decimal places, so should our answer. So let's put 4 decimal places in this answer. So start from the back here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to add a decimal. So does our answer now have 4 decimal places? Yes, it does. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So make sure that your answer has the same number of decimal places as the two numbers combined. Let's see if this is a better. 44.1 times 2.76. Okay, this number has 1 decimal places, which is just a 1, right? This one has 2 decimal places, the 7 and the 6. So it gives us a total combined of 3 decimal places. So our answer needs to have 3 decimal places. Let's start multiplying. 6 and 1 is 6. 6 and 4 is 24. Carry the 2, 26. I'm going to move 1 over, right? Because we're multiplying. So add a 0 before you start multiplying, or you can just leave it empty. It's up to you. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Goes 2. 7 times 4 is 28 again. 30. Now I'm going to multiply 2, and that's going to shift 1, 2 zeros, right? Now I can start multiplying. 2 and 1 is 2. 2 and 4 is 8, and 2 and 4 is 8 again. Now I can add 6, 11, 17, 11, and 12. So we have our number 121716. We need that number to have 3 decimal places, and we need to put that decimal right over here. So 1, 2, 3, there. 3 decimal places, and that's where our decimal goes. So the answer is 121.716, which sort of makes sense because this is about what? About 40, and this is about 3, so 3 times 4 is about 120, and that's what our answer is close to. Okay, I'll do this over here. So 0.04 times 1.58. I should have done it backwards, but it's okay. This has 2 decimal places, I'm sorry. This also has 2 decimal places, right? 0 and 4, 5 and 8 for a total of 4 decimal places. Let's go. 8 times 4 is 32. 0 and 0. 5 times, and a 0 here. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry the 2, so it's 2, 0, 0. Now the third number, let me add 2 zeros. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 is 0 and 0. So it's 2, 3, 6, 0, 0. My answer needs 4 decimal places, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my answer. 0.0632. 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. Okay. 12.7 times 0.092. This has 1 decimal place. This has 3 decimal places. So my answer needs to have a total of 4 decimal places. So I'm multiplying. 2 and 7 is 14. Carry the 1 is 5. 2. There we go. Add a 0. 9 times 7 is 63. Carry the 6. 24. 2. 11. And that's it. I'm not going to do the zeros. Okay. So add 4, 8, 6, 1, 1. 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our decimal goes right here. 1.1684. Good. Next ones are pretty easy. So you're multiplying. You just need to put the decimal in the correct location. So these two numbers, there's 1 decimal place here, another decimal place here. So my answer should have 2 decimal places. So decimal goes here. 1, 2, 3 decimal places. 1 decimal place here. So 3 plus 1 is 4 decimal places, right? So I need my answer to have 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. 4 decimal places would be right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 2 numbers being multiplied has 5 decimal places, so I need my answer to have 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I wonder if I can, there you go. Okay. Divide, your favorite. No. Okay, so division. The number you say first goes inside. Okay, divided by 8. There's absolutely nothing to do here. You can divide by 8. This is a whole number here. So the only thing I'd like you to do is make sure you bring this decimal up here to your quotient. Okay. 8 goes in 29 3 times, which is 24. 5, bring the 6 down. 8 goes into 56 7 times. 8 times 7 is 56. 0. There's your answer. Okay. 15.57 divided by 0.09. Life is much easier if you change this here to a whole number. So we move it 1, 2 to the right, and that becomes a 9. And I'm moving the inside 2 as well. 1, 2. That's going to be 1557. All right, so I'm multiplying both numbers by 100. Okay, so I'm turning 0.09 to 9 by multiplying it by 100. Okay, and if I multiply the outside by 100, I multiply the outside by 100. Okay. So the decimals are all the way at the end. I'm not going to bring it up, not yet at least. 9 goes into 1, no. 15, no. 150, 15, yes, sorry. Goes in one time, which is 9. 65, 9 goes 65 7 times, which is 63. 2, bring the 7 down. 9 is going to 27 3 times. 27. How nice. Okay. Let's do that one. So, 16.15 divided by 0.38. I'm going to change this, multiply, move it over. I'll change it to a whole number. Okay, so multiply by 100 or move it to the right 2 times, so that becomes 38. And inside, I'm going to move that decimal twice to the right as well. Once, twice. And that becomes 1615. Whatever I do to the outside, I do to the inside. Okay. 38 goes into 1, no. 16, no. 161, 5 times? I'm going to say no. Let's try 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Go 3, 12, 5. 152. 11 minus 2, because I borrowed, that becomes a 5. 11 minus 2 is 9, 95. Yikes. 38 goes to 95 2 times, which is 76. Subtract 8, 150 minus 6 is 9. 8 minus 7 is 1. Should I continue? Well, if I continue, let's see, I can add a decimal here. Add a decimal here, add a 0 now. Let's see if that helps me. Times 4, times 5. Oh yeah, it works. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry the 4. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 is 19. So adding a decimal and continuing my problem by adding a 0 did help me. Okay, so final answer is 42.5. Okay, so again, labor intensive today, but the idea is for you to make sure you know how to apply whatever rules you need to apply before adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing fraction decimals. Okay. Last problem: 673.29 divided by 5.6. Multiply this by 10, or move this one over, becomes 56. And inside we're going to move 1 over, so it's going to be 673.2 decimal 9. Okay, let me erase that. Okay, now we can start dividing. 56 goes 67 once, which is 56. 1, 1, bring the 3. I'm going to say that's 2 times. Yeah, 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1, 11. Yeah. Subtract, so that's a 1. Bring the 2 down. No, 56.2. No, it doesn't. So that's 0. I'm going to bring the decimal up here and bring the 9 down here. Goes 2 times again. 12, carry the 1, 10, 11. Now this is a 7. And I'm going to add a 0, see if I can help you out here. 56 going to 170 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15, 16. 2 left over. Bring another 0 down. So I'm not going to continue this problem. I'm going to continue. So we're going to round this to nearest hundred. So it's 120.23 because it continues, probably going to continue for a little while. Okay. I have actually no idea. But that's as far as I want to go. So this is going to be a 0. And then you're going to add another 0. And 56 going to 200 about 3 times again. So let's not continue that. All right. Some word problems. Okay, so Naomi drove 710 miles, 0.24 miles, with 18.4 gallons of gas. No way. How many miles did per gallon did her car get? There's no way. By the way, it's probably no idea what I was thinking. So 710.24 divided by 18.4 gallons of gas. No way she did that trip. It's 18 miles, 18 gallons. So that moves one over, becomes 184. And this is going to be 710.2.4 because the decimal also moves one over. Okay. That's the hybrid, maybe. Definitely. So let's start dividing. Find out. Just yeah, right there. 184 goes into 710 3 times, 4 times. About 4 times. 5 is too much. 4, 32 goes 3. Let's try 4. Does 4 work? 184. 4 won't work, so it's going to be 3. 3 times 4 is 12, goes 1, 24, 25. Carry 2 and 5, 52. Let's subtract. 6, 11 becomes 10, 10, 2, 8, 5, 158. Bring the 2 down. Maybe 5 times? 184 times 6. How about 6 times? No, what am I thinking of? 184 times 7. No, that's too much. No, maybe. 184 times 8. 184 times 9? No. No. No, it's times 8. Times 8. 184 times 8. That's going to give us 1472. 1472. 0, 8 minus 7 is 1, 5 minus 4 is 1, and now, put the decimal up, bring the 4 down, and I have no idea. 6, 184, hopefully it's times 6. Yes, times 6. It's exactly 1104. You can subtract, get 0. So every mile, every gallon of gas took her 38.6 miles. Wow. Okay, nice car. A deli charges $3.45 for a pound of turkey. If you bought 2.4 pounds, how much? Well, 1 pound is $3.45. 2 pounds would be double that, and then a little bit more. So it's a multiplication problem. $3.45 times 2.4. There's 2 decimal places here. 1 decimal place here for a total of 3 decimal places. Let's start multiplying. 4 and 5 is 20, goes 2, 16, 18, 12. Add a 0. 2 times 4 is 10, goes 1 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6. 0, 8, 11, 8. So 81, 8180. Where's the decimal? 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, right here. So how much did you pay? $8.18. 1 inch. Okay. So 1 inch is equivalent to 2.54 centimeters. How many inches are there in 15.8 centimeters? Alright, so this is a division problem. Okay, so if you have 50.8 centimeters in total, and you knew that 1 inch was 2 points, so how many times can 2.54 fit inside 50.8? That would give you the number of inches, right? Move 2 over, 1, 2, so that's becoming 254. Move 2 over, becomes 1, 2, becomes 50800. Right? 254 goes into 508 2 times. Oh, why not? 8, 0, 508, nice. 0, bring the 0 down. 254 goes to 0, 0 times. Bring the other 0 down. 254 goes into that 0, 0 times. So how many times can 2.54 go inside 50.8? 200 times. So that means that's 200 inches. think we have one more problem. Yeah. Area. So here's a room. I'll draw it. Okay. I know that the length is 6.25. The width, I have no idea. But I know if I multiply the length times the width, the area is 28.125. So area equals length times width, right? Let's substitute. The area is 28.125. The length is what? 6.25. And the width is our mystery number. Okay? So 6.25 times the mystery number gives you this. So what do you have to do to find the W? Obviously. Think of it at the equations, right? So this is a multiplication equation. Here's multiplying, right? With the opposite multiplication. Draw that middle line. The opposite multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide this, and I'll show division with a fraction bar, by 6.25. I'm going to divide this by 6.25. 6.25 divided by 6.25 here gives me 1, or 1W, right? Or just simply W. And 28.125, and that's what I have to do. I'm going to do it over here somewhere. 28.125, and I'm going to divide that by 6.25. Move this 2 over, it becomes 625. Move this 2 over, it's going to become 2812.5. Alright, now I can divide. Let me move that decimal before I forget. Up to the quotient. 625 goes into 2. No. Goes into that about 4 times maybe? Is it 4 times 625? That works. 4 times 625 is 2,400. 2,500. 3, 1, 2, bring the 5 down, and 625, is that a 5 maybe? 625 times 5, will that work? Yes, it will work. So times 5 will give you 3,1,250. So how wide is that room? 4.5. You can always double check. Length times width should give you 28.125. 6.25 times 4.5 should give you the area of this particular room. Okay. That's it for today.